What does Dungeons & Dragons mean to you? And I don't mean what is it or how do you play it. I mean, what does it actually do for you when the door is closed? When you take out those dice and the rest of the world finally shuts up for a few hours? Because if D&D was just about math rocks and goblins with knives, most of us would probably have bounced a long time ago. Hi friends, if you're new here, my name's Tyler. I am the game master here in the dungeon somewhere in the middle of an undisclosed location that only Vecna would be able to get to. Let me start with a confession. I don't think most people come to D&D because they want to be heroes. I think they come because they want permission to feel things. They want permission to try things and to fail safely and to win honestly. And they also want to be someone else without being judged for it. Dungeons & Dragons and other fantasy tabletop role-playing games are just one of only a few places left where adults get to say out loud, "Okay, pretend with me." And nobody's gonna laugh at them. And that's pretty powerful. For some people, Dungeons & Dragons is an escape. And yeah, I know, escape gets a bad rap, like it's some sort of avoidance weakness, but let's be real for just a little second here. The outside world is really loud, it's very relentless, and it's very bad at letting you breathe. The bills don't just pause, the news doesn't stop, and anxiety doesn't take a long rest. But when the game starts, when initiative is rolled, for a few hours, your brain is somewhere else. You're not dissociating, but you're focusing with your friends, and you're present. You're solving problems. You're listening to other humans. You're not doom scrolling. You're not spinning out. You're not rehearsing conversations that are already happened. You're deciding whether to kick down a door or to lie to the dragon. And I want to talk about this part from my perspective for a moment, because this is personal. And I don't know if I can keep it together. This is the reason that this video exists at the moment. And it's because I've been struggling pretty badly with depression and my mental health. And it's not some sort of dramatic YouTube confession, it's just the truth. It's why there hasn't been a new video here in months. Too many months, actually. For those of you that are still here, thank you. I just also don't feel like promoting my Patreon right now. And it's not because I don't care enough about the people that support me. I appreciate those of you that are left. But it's because depression has a way of convincing you that you have nothing left to give. Like you're running on fumes and anything extra would be a lie. But here's the thing. When my players come over to my gaming dungeon, and when they sit down at the table, and when I open up one of my homebrew worlds, something changes. I go from feeling like a powerless human stuck inside a very heavy world to becoming every powerful character my campaign takes on. I get to build the themes that challenge my players. I get to raise them up. I get to put my emotions, my fear, my anger, my hope, my grief into the safety of a heroic adventure where those feelings actually do something, where they matter, where they can be faced, confronted, and transformed. I don't feel fixed, I don't feel cured, but I feel present. I feel capable, and I feel like myself again, if only for 4 hours. And that's not magic. That's storytelling doing what it's always done, giving us a way to carry the weight together. And for others, Dungeons & Dragons is a safe place to explore parts of themselves that they don't get to touch in real life. You want to be confident, play a paladin. You want to be clever, play a rogue. You want to feel powerful. After a week where you felt small, cast Fireball and don't apologize. Seriously, remember, the answer is always Fireball. And sometimes it goes deeper than that. You can explore leadership without risking real people You can explore anger without hurting anybody. And you can explore morality. You can explore faith, doubt, loyalty, sacrifice, all of these massive human questions inside a story that says it's okay to try. It's okay to be wrong, and let's see what happens. It is not childish to play Dungeons & Dragons. It's rehearsal for being human. And yes, some of us just really like numbers. I see you, Tony. I'm calling you out. Some people genuinely love the puzzles. They love the builds and the optimization. They love the moments where the math clicks and your character does exactly what you planned 3 levels ago. That's not missing the point of roleplay. It's just your version of roleplay. It's your brain lighting up and saying, yes, this makes sense. There's room at the table for that too. And then there's the social side, which might be the most underrated part of all of this. Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop role-playing games give people a reason to gather. That isn't small talk. In our busy adult lives, actually, the BBEG is scheduling, but when you finally do get together, it's so important. You don't have to ask, so what do you do for work? You ask, what does your character want? And how are you going to fail this ability check this time? And somehow that's just easier to answer. You build trust without realizing it. You learn how people react under pressure, how they support each other, how they celebrate wins that don't matter, but feel like they do. You create inside jokes, shared traumas via my very compelling stories and shared narrative experiences, and you celebrate memories together that are going to stick around long after the campaign ends. Some of my favorite moments in life didn't happen at weddings or parties or big milestones. They've happened right here at my table, when a plan went horribly wrong and everyone laughed anyways, or a player shed a tear as their favorite NPC came this close to sudden death. And for a lot of us, D&D helps with mental health, not as therapy, as a replacement, as a support beam for everyone. It gives structure when things feel chaotic, it gives control when the world feels arbitrary, and it gives meaning when things feel flat. And sometimes it just gives you one night a week where you're not alone with your thoughts. In Dungeons & Dragons, you're part of a party, and that matters. And if you're a game master, if you're the one behind the screen, D&D might mean creation. It might mean storytelling, and it might mean finally being allowed to care deeply about something and share it without being told it's too much. As the game master, you get to build the world. You get to ask questions. You get to watch players surprise you in ways no script ever could. And you get to create a space where people feel safe enough to be bold. That's not just power, it's stewardship. And speaking of building worlds, I am so beyond excited to finally say this out loud. We're currently recording our first Let's Play adventure here on the channel. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and we're going big. You can't see it because it's off camera, but I have 2 gorgeous backdrops to go along with this epic fantasy tale. It is a dark, epic fantasy adaptation inspired by the Horus Heresy. Massive ideologies, fractured loyalties, godlike figures, and impossible choices, but reimagined through, I know this is mostly a channel about D&D, but I'm using the Daggerheart system. There's heavy themes, big emotions, no safety rails on the story, and the dice are brutal. It is a beautiful game, and it is exactly the kind of game that reminds me why I fell in love with this hobby in the first place. If you've ever wondered what D&D or TTRPGs as a whole can be when you let them go all the way, you're going to want to be here for that. And I don't have an exact release date yet. We've got 2 out of 5 episodes done. I'll speak to my players, we'll do episode 3, and shortly that'll be live. So I'm going to ask you again, what does Dungeons & Dragons mean to you? Is it escape? Is it expression? Is it math, friendship, healing? Is it fun? And honestly, isn't that reason enough? Drop it in the comments. I want to genuinely know, and I want to read them. If this video resonates with you, hit the like button and share, subscribe, do all the silly things that everybody in every video tells you to do. Until next time, my friends, keep rolling those dice, and may your quests be epic.